Hi, Happy New Year, my dear children. How you celebrated the New Year? Hope you celebrated very nicely. And God bless you, children, with a bright future and very happy New Year and with the great results I'm expecting from you. Okay, then coming to the lesson part, today explaining you about the power sharing. This power sharing we are learning with the examples of two countries. One is the Belgium, the other one is the Sri Lanka. So, and in Belgium and Sri Lanka, this Belgium is the European country, Sri Lanka is the Asian country. It is smaller than our state Haryana, our Indian state Haryana, and the Sri Lanka is almost equal to the Haryana state. That is the about these countries. Now coming to this, in Belgium there are 59% of Dutch speaking people. They live in the feminist region, and 40% are French speaking people. They live in Wallonia, the Wallonian region, and 1% is German. And when coming to the capital city Brussels, what is the capital city of Belgium? In the capital city Brussels, 80% are French speaking and 20% are Dutch speaking people. Coming to the Sri Lanka, here we are discussing about the major two language speaking people, and remaining all are minor. We are not discussing about them. And what are the two major ones? Sinhala speaking people and the Tamil speaking people. And this remaining among these, if we check, the other type of speaking language speaking people are also there. If we leave this aside, we are learning about the other division. So 2% Tamilians are there. They are related to the Hindu and Muslim religion. This is based on the religion. So Sri Lankan Tamilians, this 13%, they are the Sri Lankan Tamilians. They are some of them they are Hindus, and some of them they are the Christians. Here 7% are the Tamil people. They are purely Christians. So this is the way about the basing on religion and basing on the language. We are discussing about the percentages. Most of the people in the Sri Lanka, which is related to India, it is the teardrop. It is related to India, Sri Lanka. So from that place, during the colonial period, so many people, they came here as the plantation workers and they settled here. They are now as the Indian Tamils. Sri Lankan Tamils, Indian Tamils, like that, some differences are there. Now let us see about these language speaking and this one. Now, how they shared the power now. The Sinhalas, how the power is shared between the Sinhala and Tamilians and the Dutch and the French speaking people. How? Let us learn about that now in detail. First about this Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, if we say in 1956, Sri Lanka government announced as the Sinhala as the official language, is the only official language. Sinhala is the only official language, basing on the majoritarianism. What is majoritarianism? The belief that the majority is having the right to rule remaining all, right to rule the country. The majority who is having the majority is Sinhala, and most of these Sinhala speaking people, they were the followers of the Buddhism. So in the same way here, the Buddhism, they try to protest the Buddhism. This act lead to some ill feeling among the Tamilians and all the Christians, like them, depending on Tamilians and Sri Lankan Christians, basing on the religion, everything. And they tried to request, they requested the government to give some power to them also in the constitution, in the ruling system. But the government did not obey that. So they forced to obey the majority party. Then these Tamilians also they revolted. So civil war had taken place. What is civil war? I think you know, all of you know. Civil war is nothing but the war between the country, inside the country. If any war took place inside the country, that is the civil war. So civil war took place. This is all about the Sri Lanka. Next, coming to the Belgium. In this Belgium parliament, though the Dutch people are more here and 40% only French speaking people are there, here what they decided that all the ministers in the parliament should be equal. Dutch speaking people and the French speaking people ministers are equal in number, so that they can fight for their own language. They can, there may not be any ill treatment for the others, and they can support their own language also. Okay, this country, because here it is dominated, but here if we see, the French is remarkably more than the Dutch speaking in the Brazil, capital city of the Belgium. So what happened here? Yes, here also they share the power equally in the parliament. The same time ministers are there from the for the Dutch and the from the French people. They shared here and they were obeying here and here. So the power sharing here has taken place in that. It is not the majoritarianism. And in the local government also in the Belgium, for basing on the culture, basing on their language, and basing on their region, again the separate governments, they are looking after for the people. So in this way, the Belgium shared the power. So there was no war, it was running very coolly. So this is the power sharing between these two countries, Belgium and the Sri Lanka. But comparing to Sri Lanka, Belgium is little complicated, no? Yes, little complicated. But the power sharing system, though it is complicated, it ran the political issues very coolly. Actually, why the power sharing is needed? Why? Yes, for that we can tell two reasons why the power sharing is needed. The power sharing is needed because if the majority rules the country, what about the minorities? So it has to look about take care of the minorities. It have to give some part to the minorities also. If we think and share the power in this way, we will call it as a prudential power sharing. And if we think that although we are majorities, minority should also have share in the power sharing, because the constitution and the state, the country had provided for them certain rights. So if we share on that principle, then they are the moral power sharing. In this way, two types of power we have to share basing on two principles. It may be a major prudential, it may be a moral. Now, how many forms of power sharing are there? How many forms? Here, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Power sharing, excuse me, power sharing among different organs of the government. What is the power sharing among the different governments of the organs of government? What are the organs of the government? First, you have to learn that. Executive, legislative, judiciary. Yes, very correct. What are the rules? Legislative is giving, the executive is executing them. It is checking whether they are related for the welfare of the people or not. And this legislative, again, one more organ is there to check the executive, that is the judiciary. And this judiciary is also checked by the legislative. So in this way, when super check is there on one organ and other, the power sharing will be running very cool, and the political rule of the country is running very coolly. Among the governments at different level, what is this among the governments at different level means, like our Indian government, we are having the central government and the state governments. They are sharing the power. The federal form of the government, we will say our government. So like that, central and state governments, they share some powers, and they share, and they rule the country. So it is running like that. That is the example for the federal government, is the example for this at different levels of sharing. And there is a power sharing among different social groups. What are power sharing among different social groups? Like the example of Belgium. Dutch, French speaking people, they shared the power, and they ruled the country. So that is the another form. And the last one is political parties, pressure groups, and the movements. Political parties also shares the power. How two, three political parties, they join, they contest the elections, and they join together and they started ruling with the government. We'll call it as a coalition government. Actually, you are learning that two, three parties, they share the power among themselves. And regarding this pressure groups, we'll learn later. You are having indeed that lesson. Like the business groups, we can call it business groups or any communities, cultural pressure groups like that. And the movements, they are also share the some power in the society. I hope this lesson is completed. I hope you understand that lesson. If you have any doubts, please write in the comment section, children. I am ready to clarify the doubts. And please subscribe my channel and ask your friends to see, to watch the lesson. Uh, okay, in Telugu and English also I am teaching. Please try to subscribe, children. Bye. Have a nice day, children.